Hi, welcome back to Jen's Addiction. I'm so glad everyone came back to see me today, and I hope you find today's episode entertaining. I wanted to share some outtakes from my recent concert trip out of town. We went to Columbus, Ohio to see the band SPARKS play, and we also took in a little side trip to a local record store there, and I had taken some video and had bought a few things while I was there, and I thought that I would share those with everybody, kind of give a sneak peek, just a little bit of my takeaways from the concert, the record store, and give you guys a chance to sound off down below in the comments. Let me know if there's anything around the Columbus area that I may have missed or that I didn't mention. If you're from that area, or perhaps you visited and have something to take away and add of your own. I had not been to Columbus in, oh my gosh, it's been forever. I hate to say it's probably been well over 20 years. And even then I didn't really get to take in like the city. So I'm sure lots has changed in that time period. But what I will say is I can't think of anything about Columbus I didn't like. My only complaint was I did not have enough time to do all the things I wanted to do. There seemed to be so many great opportunities to see some cool things, restaurants, other venues, lots of other record stores to explore. And we just simply ran out of time. It took us 4 hours from our house to there. So it was quite a trip. We did stay the night. And we're planning on doing some record shopping the next day, maybe a little sightseeing on the way home. Just some other fun things we spied on the road, kind of roadside attractions when we would head back home. But the one record store that we ended up choosing to go to was so awesome that, oh my gosh, you guys, I spent so much time there and it blew my mind. So I'm going to probably walk through the concert. I'm going to walk through what we did in the record store, what we saw. I have some outtakes and some photos. I'm either going to insert them intermittently in through what I'm talking about, or I might just load it all in at the end and let you kind of see one long piece. I haven't decided what'll work out best yet, but either way, I am going to share. Let me say too, if you are coming back to see me and you've already hit like and subscribe, thank you so very, very much to all of you. I appreciate you all so much. And it's so much fun to be able to bring all this information to you guys about things that I really do love and find myself quite addicted to on many levels. If you haven't hit like and subscribe yet, I certainly hope that you will, and that you will come back to see me. I just like to have a lot of fun. I like to talk about the things that I enjoy and that I'm addicted to, which happens to be mainly music, but also comics and monsters and anything else in that kind of genre. I'm just a real definite kind of monster kid, and anything to do with pop culture. And I'm just a true music enthusiast. I just love it. So if you love those types of things too, I hope you will tune back in, share my channel with a friend, and join in on the fun. Like I said, please leave comments below if you got to see SPARKS in concert. If there's somebody else fun that you just saw, I'd love to know, and share with everybody else any other good experiences, maybe at venues or record stores. I think it's really cool when we can sort of give everyone a heads up or different recommendations. It's almost like you have your own little personal tour guide. You can get to see sights and sounds and places that you may not normally look, or if it's not in your comfort zone to explore, it maybe gives you that freedom to try something new. So I encourage everybody to share. So that being said, let's jump into what's going on. So we took off 4 hours, like I said, to get to Columbus. When we got there, it was a beautiful day. We couldn't have picked a better timing, really, to be able to have to travel, because we wanted to walk to the venue, kind of get to the hotel, park the car, leave it, and not get back in the car until we were ready to leave. And so it worked out just perfectly. And Columbus was beautiful. The weather was great. The city was great. And it was quiet. Like, I know it was a Sunday, but when we first pulled in, it seemed like it was super busy. But by the time we left to go to the show, which started at 7, and we were maybe a 10 to 12 minute walk to the venue. Nothing really crazy, but it was really quiet. Is it always that quiet? Like, I thought for a big city, it would just be a little bit crazier, or more people on the street, or just kind of more of a hustle and bustle. But it was beautiful, and it was laid out really nice, and there was so much to see, and especially at night when everything was all lit up, it was really awesome. So I can't say, again, enough good things about the city itself. It was a really nice surprise, and I can't wait to go back and visit. We ended up seeing SPARKS. So if you are not familiar with SPARKS, SPARKS is a band that started Well, really, probably the 60s. I mean, they're brothers. That's Russell and what's Russell and Ron Mael, the Mael brothers. They started back in, I think, around 1966 or 7, probably making music. But their first album was this one behind me. They had a band called Half Nelson, and that came out in 1968. Then they re-released that album in 1972, and the name had changed to Sparks, and then it kind of just went from there, and the rest is history. Sparks is so different. They are really, I guess, poppy, I suppose. They've been disco, they've been pop. They've done a movie like musical. They'd wanted, I think, to do a Broadway show at one time. They've released 28 albums. The one behind me, Mad, is their 28th. That's what this particular tour is in support of, was that record. And I only have half of their records, but I think they have some of the absolute most iconic and best album covers you can even muster up, right? I just think they're absolutely brilliant. They have a wonderful sense of humor. Everything is very satirical and tongue in cheek, and you really have to listen to a Sparks record or you will miss something, and you don't ever want to do that. So it just, once I really discovered them, it was just hard to not keep wanting more for me. I think they were just absolutely brilliant. I was trying to think of some song titles that you guys might be aware of, and you may not even know it, right? So there was a song out called Cool Places that was put out. It was Russell singing, and Jane Weedland from the Go-Go's also singing. So if you remember Cool Places, if not, look it up. You will remember it, and you'll be like, really? That was Sparks? They'd recently done an album a couple years back with Franz Ferdinand, which is brilliant. This Town Ain't Big Enough for the Both of Us, Beat the Clock, Number One Song in Heaven. I mean, those are all just, to me, like real iconic top songs. I know some of those might have charted a little bit more in Europe than in the US, but regardless, I think, even now, the more I listen to them, I'm kind of glad I came a little bit later to the party for Sparks, because I don't know that I would have always appreciated everything they had to offer. And I just think they're absolutely brilliant. So if you're not a big fan of Sparks, I hope you'll give them a try. And I hope you'll at least kind of walk through this a little bit. I will have some concert footage, considering they've been around as long as they have. I just think they do amazing things. And so when they're on stage, it's quite a lot to see. Maybe some of you have seen the recent Sparks documentary. It came out a couple years ago, which I think was absolutely brilliant. I think I've watched it 3 times if I've seen it. I mean, maybe even more by now, just bits and pieces, but I think it really sums up the band. It's a wonderful way to kind of get introduced to them if you aren't familiar with them, and just hands down fantastic. But you would see them playing to crowds of, tens of thousands of people sometimes, and such energy and excitement, and it was fun and chaotic. And so I really didn't know what to expect when I saw them. We ended up seeing them at a place called Kimball Live. So that's in Columbus. It's 405 Neal Avenue in Columbus. So if you're familiar with that, they have an indoor and an outdoor facility and there at their venue. We were indoors. I think the seats were so affordable. They had been at a different venue and something had happened. I don't know what, but they swapped to this one. And I think it was like half of what our original tickets were to get in there. We had seats, like a seated area before we paid for, and we just did general admission this time. So we got real close to the stage, which was awesome. And that was super exciting. I will also say, I think it was a Jean Brown who maybe saw my Sparks short video that showed Russell or Ron dancing. So hi, Jean. Yes, I was at the show. It's really cool that you maybe spied me. You were not imagining things. It was me. I was there. But it was a lot of fun to know that somebody else maybe was also there that I knew from cyberspace. So hello. And it's so cool to think that, when you go to a show, sometimes I always look for people I know, because I find that as you go to concerts, especially if you are going to a show of a certain kind of band, you start to see like-minded, similar people that show up at those same shows, especially within a certain probably mile radius, right? So we've been able to meet some really lovely couples that they become our concert family and friends. And so we always look for folks. So it's nice to maybe add somebody else new to the mix. I saw someone else make a post off of my short saying that the Sparks concert was the first concert they'd ever been able to attend. So how awesome is that? I think that is so cool that Sparks was your first show. I never thought I would get to see Sparks. So being able to check this one off of our list of concerts was kind of an amazing scenario. Honestly, we just never really thought that would happen. So when we were in there waiting, we also struck up a conversation with another wonderful and sweet couple. And we just chatted about music and things that we loved and the concerts we went to from the 80s and 90s all the way up to today. And it was just a ton of fun, just really lovely, lovely people. So hello to everyone that we met at the Sparks show. It was awesome to touch base, and hopefully we will see you all again real soon at another venue with another incredibly cool band. I'm sure we only go to see the coolest bands, right? Right. So having said that, lights go down, right? And then on comes Sparks.
So may we start. So may we start. It's time to start.
Did not know what to expect, but it was energy right away. I mean, they really put on an awesome show. I managed to keep the set list, and I have it all written down. So I will go through it quickly. So May We Start was the appropriate beginning, and I love that. Reinforcements was next. Academy Award Performance was after that. The wonderful song Goofing Off. I love Goofing Off. I mean, the song and I love Goofing Off. Beat the Clock, which I was so excited that they played that one. That was that was one I wanted to hear. Please Don't F Up My World. Running up a tab in the Hotel for the Fab. You see these titles? I think it's great. Okay, so this one was a highlight. There's a song off one of their albums, which I do not have. Of the 28 albums they have, I think I might have mentioned, I only have half. One that I need is called Little Beethoven, and they have a song called Suburban Homeboy. There is a special edition kind of cut of that where Ron kind of just talks through like a spoken word type scenario, and they did that live at the show. It was perfection. So
Suburban homeboy with a suburban bow right by my side. I am a suburban homeboy that say no dog to my detailing.
So funny. I loved it. All You Ever Think About Is Sex. I love that song that came on next. Drowned in a Sea of Tears, one of their newer songs, Jansport Backpack, that came off the new album Mad. Music You Can Dance To. I have some 12-inch singles, and I love that one. When Do I Get to Sing My Way? Probably a highlight for me. That is my favorite Sparks song, I think. And it just, oh my gosh, so good. Number one song in heaven came after that. That came off of the album behind me. That was their hits they did with Giorgio Moroder. I think Beat the Clock was also another Giorgio song. This Town Ain't Big Enough for the Both of Us. That was their first kind of hit, overseas hit. They did Whippings and Apologies, Lord Have Mercy, and then their encore performance, The Girl Is Crying in Her Latte, and All That. And then they stayed kind of on stage afterwards. They were just really, really kind of sweet and generous with their time and waved and said thank you to everybody, and then turned around and took a selfie of themselves with the crowd. And I have to say, my memento for the evening, we made the cut. So right over Ron's shoulder, I found my little face and my husband's face, like all screaming. So we were super excited. We made the cut for the SPARKS selfie, and they posted it on Instagram. If any of you were at the show, or any SPARKS show for that matter, and you made like the selfie cut, I'd love to know. I think that it's just so cool when that happens. So again, it's kind of like a little memento for my time at the show. So it was just kind of nonstop. It's 20 songs. It did not feel like 20 songs. This, again, so much energy. They sounded great. Their band sounded really, really good. They were really tight, clean, right on point. I just could not say enough good things about the show. Definitely harder for me to stand through 20 songs and dance and be excited than it used to be. But I was all in and just super, super, super glad to be there. I couldn't have asked for a better show. I wish we could see them again, but I would definitely say if you have never seen SPARKS, if you have a chance to see them, I thought it was an affordable show. I think anybody would really enjoy it. It's kind of good for all levels of music and music lovers. I mean, maybe some language here or there, nothing kind of in your face. But if you have littler kids, I mean, it's just something to think about. But aside from that, I just think they are so much fun. I love, love, love SPARKS. So of course, being me, I can't not hit the merch table, right? They did have some wonderful kind of unique little pieces. Not a ton of shirts though. I did pick this one up, which I was really excited to get. I love a good ringer tee. The only other concert shirt that they had that night was just kind of the plain one that says SPARKS with the album name over the top, and then all the tour dates. So I think we're starting to get quite a collection of concert shirts, which I love. But I may have more concert bags. So a lot of these shows these days, they are selling tote bags. I end up with a tote bag at every show. This one has the names of the songs off their new album on it. Why, Jen? Why do you end up with a tote bag at every show, you may ask? Funny you should ask. Because I keep buying records at shows and I need bags. And so I did pick up a record at the show. This one they've been advertising that they were going to have. This is a 4-song EP, 10-inch EP. It's got the songs Porcupine, Fantasize, Mess Up, and They. And it is supposed to be a companion record to Mad. So currently only available if you go to the concert, but it is available for pre-order through their website. But I love that they were selling it there. I do kind of wish, it would have been like, I don't know, some like sticker or something that kind of came with it to remind you that you bought it at the concert. I like that kind of a memento piece, but super excited that I could get it ahead of time. So that came from the show. So having said that, that was kind of my evening with SPARKS. We had, again, tons of fun. Walked back, really beautiful night to walk back to our hotel. Just kind of taking the sights at night, which is always my favorite time to be in the city, and kind of make our way back. Woke up the next morning to get an early start because we thought we're going to hit the road. We're going to see a few record shows or stores, and then before we hit the 4 hours back home. And we ended up choosing our first and what would be our only record store to visit on this trip in Columbus, Ohio, and that would be Used Kids Records. Oh my gosh, you guys, have any of you shopped at Used Kids? I know at least one of you have. I heard the comments, but unbelievable. As they say in Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, right? You've chosen wisely. Yeah, we did. We chose the right goblet, right? It was perfect. And I will tell you why. absolutely mind-blowing amount of records. When you get there, I mean, I could see pictures online, and sometimes, pictures just don't do things justice. They sell vinyl, CDs, tapes, stereo equipment, magazines, some current, maybe a few back issues. Look like they may have had some books or other music memorabilia they probably acquired when they buy used records from other people. They had all kinds of autographs and signed things on the wall, everything from Burt Reynolds to Duran Duran, Amyl and the Sniffers, even a signed print for Darth Vader. Just so much stuff. And it just absolutely, I just like, I squirreled so bad. Like the minute I walked in the door, my mind was just blown. I couldn't focus. Like first you walk in and it spans everything. There's so much to see. And then I immediately look to my left and then there's another room. But what I didn't realize initially is when you walk in that room, which looked like all 45s, it's also jazz and like krautrock and psych rock. And then there's another little room. You go upstairs and in that room, there's international music and reggae and ska and just, I think there were soundtracks and I can't even keep it all straight. And then you go into the main room and it is probably the longest wall of just post-punk music. I could have really spent forever just going through the punk section alone. And then there's like a heavy metal section and then there's stereo equipment. They have an area in the corner where you can listen and sample records before you buy. And then you go into a room that's all soul and R&B and country and rockabilly. And then there's another room off of that. And I just my mind was absolutely blown. I could not keep it together. Thank God for my husband. That's all I have to say. He stays focused. He keeps me on track. He remembers all the stuff I forget because I literally I had a goal and I lost it all like instantaneously. I have to say of the things that I purchased, none of them would have been on my immediate list, although things I wanted, not things I was first thinking of. So let me just say right off the top, super nice staff, very, very helpful, very informative. Were really willing to put up with my shenanigans because I had questions. I'm like, where's this? Do you have the cramps? Do you have where would that be? How could, because I just, focus. I could not focus. But they had some cool free stickers, which they gave out. I picked these up. These I really love. These are going on the old skateboards. So there you go. There's some good free stickers. Who does not like good free record store stickers? This girl does. And did I mention they are at 2500 Summit Street in Columbus, Ohio? I didn't know if I gave the address or not. They also have an online store. So if you aren't familiar or close, but you want to check out maybe what's going on there or see if you can order merch. We bought enough records. They gave us 2 free Used Kids Records t-shirts. So I was super excited for that. I have quite a record store t-shirt collection now, which I really kind of love, that I could have. I don't know. I just almost love those as much as I love concert shirts. So, I don't need another t-shirt, but I do. Do you hear me? You know what I'm talking about? So that was a lot of fun. I think they might have even had some shirts that had this little dude on it, which were pretty cool. So again, you can check them out on their website. Another thing too, I will say, I want to give a big hi, thank you, and shout out to one of my founding subscribers, Ben Staton at 09K. I think that's right. Ben lives around the Columbus area. After he saw my short, he mentioned, we kind of chatted briefly about record stores. And he mentioned if I ever went back to Columbus, I should check out Lost Weekend Record Store, Elizabeth's Records, and Spoonful Records, that they had really wonderful staff, people who could talk music, who loved to talk about music and were real helpful. So those might be 3 additional record stores that you guys might like to check out. So a big thank you to Ben for those suggestions and for being with me from the very beginning. I really, really appreciate it. And Ben always has the best comments and something great and positive and fun to contribute and say. So thank you, Ben. I appreciate it. appreciate it. So without further ado, let's look at what I picked up. So the first thing I wanted to show, because maybe some of you guys know a little bit more about this than I do, I was flipping through Duran Duran records, no less. This is Mahogany Wood. This is the song. Star-Studded 2 is what it is referring to. It is a 10-inch, just 2 songs, and it's called A Sight for Sore Eyes series. Redos of the Residents songs. I picked up this one because, as a Duran Duran fan, as a Nick Rhodes fan, as a Ministry fan, it's got members of that band on here. I think Nick and a member of Pinback do the Joshua Blair mix of Mahogany Wood. So it just says performed by Rob Crow and Nick Rhodes. So I was like absolutely intrigued. It sounds really good. It's different. If you guys have any information about this series, I would love you to put the comments down below. I am really not familiar. And like I say, I bought it out of curiosity on multiple levels. I think I read somewhere it might have been limited to 500 copies. I don't know if that's true, but just basic black vinyl. But yeah, so that was one of my first purchases, a smaller record, if you will. But the first thing, and again, if you know anything about it, please let me know. But the first thing I saw, I knew I was in trouble. When I walked in the door and looked down, was a copy of Madhouse 16, the second record from Prince's kind of like jazz band, Madhouse. I have the first one. I have shown it in one of my, I think it was my alter ego video. But how awesome is it to find this? I did not expect to end up finding, and a clean copy, really. It's to find something like that, so nice. I thought, man, if this is what they have in the front, just hanging around section, I'm in big trouble. And boy, was I in big trouble again, because I could not concentrate on one thing. Like the minute I would be on a roll looking for something, I would spy something else, which would then and I don't know about you guys, you can let me know what you think. But if I'm looking at records and I think about something, and then I see something else that reminds me of something, and I haven't put it on my notes, right? And I can't write it down, I immediately go look for that thing because I'll forget about it. Like, and I don't want to forget about it. I want to remember it all. So I don't know. It's just crazy. And yeah, so I'm flustered just thinking about it. So that was like one of the very, very first things I found. And I was absolutely just blown away. So thrilled. The next one, again, a clean copy, an original. We did not plan on it. It's the Archies. I had mentioned in a video before about collecting. I have the original first Archie record. Because I'm a comic collector and fan, I loved the fact that the Archie shows on the front. You have Archie on the back, and I just think it's kind of a nice round out to our collection. Not overly expensive, and it really looks great. So we were super excited about that. These next two, oh my God, my husband is so good. You talk about somebody who is on it and remembers things and stays focused. That would be him. So I'm a big Matt Berry fan, not only for his ability to act, which I think he's brilliant. I love all his shows, but I do love his music, and he's a wonderful musician. And I've not been able to find any records by Matt Berry, and we found two. The first one would be Music for Insomniacs, and the next one is Phantom Birds. This is probably the newer one. So good. I mean, I just, again, did not plan on seeing or finding that record or any records by him at all, because I look all the time and I can never find them. His music is different with every album. He kind of gets an idea and goes with it. It's almost like I hate to say a concept album, but I think he really has a vision and something in mind, and then kind of goes from there. And this is just a wonderful album. Kind of has that 60s funky vibe kind of to it, but so enjoyable. I don't know. I just really love it. That was an amazing find for me. Again, something I thought I would have to order, just like Madhouse, and I didn't. And I was so pleased. So the next couple are 12-inch singles. The first being a really nice copy of The Dam's Gigolo and The Portrait. This came off of the Anything record, which I love that record. That, and of course, in Phantasmagoria, just winners to me. So I thought that was wonderful. And it is a clear vinyl, like crystal clear. Like I can see you through. You cannot get much clearer than that. Kind of a clear record. So far so good on the playback on that, but just excited, really. And it's nice. It's not dog-eared or anything crazy. The next one, Brian Ferry's The Right Stuff. I picked this one up. It is the LP version on both sides, but I don't have a lot of records where there's nothing on the back. I think that is like it must have just been a promo or a DJ copy or something, but it's not stamped anything like that, I don't think, at least nothing that I can see. So anyway, I thought that was kind of fascinating for $5 to add to my Brian Ferry collection. Another band that I love, and I cannot find enough good copies of anything vintage 12-inch. There's another original recording I need, is Talk Talk. It's My Life. I mean, just a classic. And I thought this was a wonderful, clean copy of that one. So thrilled to get that 12-inch single. Another band I adore is Alphaville. Their first two records to me are just kind of like 80s perfect, especially the very first one. So this is Big in Japan, extended vocal, the instrumental, and the 7-inch version. I think I have kind of an exact copy of this sleeve, but in the 7-inch, the 45 size. So super excited to get that into the collection. So this next one, and maybe you guys have some information, because I would love to know, especially you, Tobias. I'm speaking directly to you, because if anybody knows Propaganda, I think it's my friend Tobias. But I was able to find some Propaganda. They had a lot of reissues, so I'm trying to not pick up as many. I always go for the originals first if I can. And in this case, I thought this was a great one to grab. When I put it into Discogs, though, I noticed that Dual also shows up, like this is red. There's one with a picture with green. And I'm wondering, because this lists on the back the third side Dual, the fourth side Jewel. And I'm wondering if the green one is the first record. Like maybe I need to get an additional one. Like maybe it's a 12-inch set. So if anybody knows anything about that, if I need to find the green one now, that's cool. The hunt is on. It's real. But I just was excited to get that one, and I just didn't know a lot about it. So this next one was also a lovely surprise. As a Susie and the Banshees fan, a Creatures fan, I had not picked up Susie's Manta Ray, her 2007 single album. They had it there, so I was able to grab that. The song Into a Swan, I have the 12-inch singles of. So the inside has the wonderful kind of lyric sheet with that great picture of her on it with the butterflies. I think that is just gorgeous. And then the record is so pretty. It's just like that very blood red, kind of almost matches my fingernails. Very Susie, like almost like her red lipstick kind of color. So I was just super excited to find a copy of that, because I've not seen this anywhere else. And we look again, always looking for that stuff, and always figuring in the end, I'm going to have to order it. So I kind of feel like everything I've purchased up to this point are things on my want list, and things I kind of was starting to think that I was going to have to mail order. So, all right, the next one, Brian Setzer's live nude guitars. I love some rockabilly music. I love the Stray Cats, and I really love Brian Setzer. So super excited to get this one. It's a nice copy. I think it was obviously the hole punch. It was a cutout, but it's in wonderful condition. It looks like it's going to play fantastic, and I could not be happier with that. Again, something I don't see. And what's so cool about this trip was finding records and not seeing multiple repeats of things I see all the time. Like there's just certain, I always joke, it's like Dan Fogelberg or or like the same 6 Barbra Streisand records. Like just over and over. So excited to see something different pop up. This one I would not have found the next 2 records had I not just taken a breath and refocused. And I went up to the little kind of back room that had the reggae and ska and dub records in it, because I love that stuff. And found Madness. So this was the 12-inch single for a Madness song, The Sun and the Rain. Fireball XL5 is on the other side. So great addition to my Madness collection. And I think that was like, I don't know, a couple bucks. And the specials were also up there. So I'm so used to these guys showing up with kind of British 80s, punk, post-punk, new wave kind of groupings. And none of that was out there. It was all back with ska and dub and reggae. So in the ska section, we were able to get some specials. So that was awesome and a great addition to my collection. Okay, so the last group of records, I kind of felt like I really did myself in with these. Again, an artist I've wanted, something I look for all the time. I literally think I just complained on another video that I cannot find her records. I have such a hard time. And talk about repeats. Like I always see the same one over and over and over again. And that is Julie London. And I love Julie London. So Lonely Girl was one of the first ones I spied. And it just got better. It just got better and better. And a beautiful, that cover is gorgeous. I think she has an amazing voice. And it's just every picture, she just so good, just so beautiful. The next one I was able to pick up, Tenderly Yours. I think I used to own that sweater, so it's pretty awesome. I love that one too. The graphics on these records and the colors, and it's just, there's just something mesmerizing about that era and the marketing for these records. Julie London's Swing Me an Old Song. Just so cool. She looks fantastic. She kind of has that Anne Margaret look about her on that. Like I'm ready for her to, do some Viva Las Vegas or something. She looks so great. In person, Julie London at the Americana. So this, I believe, she didn't have a lot of live records, I don't think. So I've not listened to this one yet. I'm excited to do so. Trying to think, it's got a couple of her other albums kind of listed on the bottom. Like I mentioned before, that additional marketing with some of these is fantastic. And then I found another one. All Through the Night. Julie London sings the choicest of Cole Porter. So I always say, who doesn't love Cole Porter? And who would not love Julie London singing Cole Porter? Just think that's fantastic. And it's just great condition. I'm going to assume some of these maybe came from the same collection, just based on how they look. Just great stuff. I know I mentioned earlier, I've not been buying reissues, and I typically don't. I think I was just so excited to find anything with a different cover. We ended up decided to buy this one too. But I have to say, if you're going to buy a reissue, a lot of the ones I'm seeing for her music look so good. And I like that they really reproduce it like the right way, kind of like the Third Man one for Eartha Kitt that I showed a while back. Like it's just time and energy. And I feel like they put a little bit more time and thought into this one, but it looks pretty darn close to an original. So I'm happy to have this one and play it until an original comes my way. And the very last record I'd like to share was the first one in the list that I saw. It took me a second to register because I did not have these puppies on, and it was at a distance. And all I saw was that it said Calendar Girl. And it had all these wonderful little photos on the top. And I love the artwork of Vargas and Petty and Elgren. And I just think that is fantastic. So she's on the front and back. There is a song for each month. There is obviously a look for each month. And the very last song is called The 13th Month. And this is the photo that corresponds for that particular month. All the details on here about the record and how it was made. Each song has something written about it. So, just that kind of extra care and detail I love about these old records when they really right? Like, we recorded it at this particular location, and so did, whatever. They layer it on and layer it on and really just kind of give it every ounce that they've got. So it sets a mood and a tone, right? So June is Memphis in June, a rural remembrance done with grace and style. Julie makes your heart leap at the thought of Boss Crump and sweet oleanders. So, it's just like one thing after another, but I think by far, that is just a killer photo. I just love that picture so, so much. That's everything. And I'm sure all of us can envision somewhere a Vargas pinup calendar or an Elgrin. I think that this photo looks super familiar to me. The one coming up with the pumpkin, and it's just a lot of those. I just feel like they must have taken inspiration directly from those original art pieces to make this record. But I just couldn't be happier if you couldn't tell. And what a great addition. She has 36 total records, and I think I need about 8 more, and I will have all her records. So, the struggle is real. I need some more. Between that and Sparks records, I need, I don't know. I have a few more to go, but to find those and not, it was just one after the other. I think I have a video that you'll get to see it when I kind of discover it, because I wasn't expecting it. And it was just like, oh, let's pull it all out. So there you go. So that is everything I picked up at Used Kids Records. I hope you enjoyed that little sneak peek of my record excursion. When we left from there, we just kind of headed on back home. We were able to stop at a couple of antique malls. I found one album that I bought for a family member, but not a whole lot. So it was just a ton of fun. We had a lot of fun. It was a good weekend. We were tired, but it was a good weekend. So I hope you guys enjoyed that little sneak peek of our time in Columbus, the Sparks concert, and some record shopping with me. If you have any thing you'd like to contribute down in the comments, maybe you've seen Sparks, maybe you're about to see them, I'd love to know that. And if you've hit any new record stores on your journeys this summer, maybe now's a great time to add some of those additional spots down below, so all of our fellow addicts here at my channel can join in and maybe have some new places to kind of check that box off for when they travel. It's wonderful to share, and you guys always have the best tips and suggestions, and I appreciate that so, so much. So again, hit like and subscribe if you've not done so already. I'm so happy that you're all here and that you keep coming back to see me. It's tons of fun, and I enjoy it so, so much. So thank you for allowing me a few minutes of your time and to indulge me in talking about these things that I'm addicted to. In this case, my concert experience and my new record editions. I'll have some more concerts coming up, a lot of fun things to do. So hopefully I will see you again all real, real soon. So keep spinning some wonderful tunes. Find something fun and new for you. Just listen to the music or anything else that you're addicted to, whatever makes you happy. You guys take care. Bye-bye.